Hello, everybody. This is Tom with the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Tonight, we're going to talk about how close are we to civil war. We're going to do a Saturday night hangout, and you can bring up whatever else you want in there. But I can see I'm already going to have problems with YouTube. They made me reload. They're playing games with me. I'm telling you, just to get a video out, prepare a live stream. What YouTube does to you, what this fucking platform does to a creator, to sit there and try to throw stop signs in it. This is why a lot of people are quitting YouTube, because they don't want to go through the stop signs anymore. Hey, I'm going to cruise right through. And then guess what? You know how strong I am? As strong as the force you put against me. Just a little bit stronger than that to get over it. Anyway, I often wonder when this world collapses, it's not only going to be a civil war in our country, it's going to be one all over the world. Where are you elites going to hide? You going to run off to New Zealand in your bunkers, your coffins? Because you got millions of people pissed off at you, and you go into your bunker, millions of plus people outside the bunker that saying, just kick the elites out of that bunker and we'll let you go. Okay? Did you like God of War? I never saw the movie. But anyway, I heard it's a good movie. But anyway, I watch a lot of old Hollywood, but we're not going to get into that. Okay, I just wonder what these elites and these elite politicians like Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer think they're going to do when they finally get what they wanted and destroy the United States. How are they going to keep the loyalty of these people? All I know is a simple guy like me with a little bit over 1,000 subscribers is such a danger to them because they know this. You don't need a lot of people. All you need is the right people to hear you, right? How many disciples did Jesus Christ have? 12. And look at the difference he made in the world. And these elites know that. All it takes is a drop to sit there and fill a bucket. Anyway, but I tell you what, YouTube and these social media platforms and all these elites, CEOs and stuff, when reality slaps them in the face, it's going to be with a club with a spike sticking out of it. But anyway, let's get into the subject. How close are we to civil war? It's also Saturday Night Hangout. You can sit there and bring up a subject, whatever you want. Okay? And it should be a good live stream. I'm sure Google will be in here. So you got to watch what you say. But how close are we to civil war? There's many reasons why. I was actually doing a lot of research and watching videos of people that I'm not subscribed to, new channels and stuff. And I don't know if they don't sound like they're people that actually do YouTube for a living or social media. They just may post something when they're upset. But there's a lot of people that are upset. For one, okay, all the economy sucks. If you got to make $5,000 cash a month and you still can't make it, that's crazy time. But when medical insurance, the average medical insurance premium per year for a family is $27,000, and that doesn't include your copay or your deductible. Hello, what is the stream about? It's Saturday Night Hangout. You can ask questions, whatever you want, or it's about how close are we to civil war and the reasons why. And we're talking about finances right now. Hey, DC, how's it going? Great. I'm glad I got a moderator in here. Could get a little crazy tonight. But I've seen a lot of videos today of, young adults between 20, I'd say after college, and 30 that aren't making it. That are saying that they're not going to live the rest of their lives this way doing this shit. I don't even want to live another 40 years doing this crap. These people realize they have no future. None. We were growing up, we'd always make jokes about, well, there ain't going to be Social Security by the time we get 65. And I still got 7 years to go, and we'll see. But see, I'm not going to claim Social Security anyway. I'm not going to not depend on the government for anything, and all of a sudden when I retire, I'm going to sit there and have my hand out for the government to fill. They can keep my goddamn money. Whatever, I'm sure it's spent now already. Boomers had, all the young people have been robbed of the future. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons, people, is because us Gen X's And baby boomers, our politicians, and us civilians, you got to say it, we allowed our country financially to be stolen from our future generations. I mean, with $38 trillion in debt, that's just our funded liability, not our promissory notes, which is over $1 trillion. We've robbed from our unborn generations so we can continue on with our lifestyle. Okay, I already had a discussion about that. Yeah, Gen X and boomers. You know, I grew up rough. I don't know where all these politicians came from that think this way, but everybody I grew up around didn't think this way. You know, of course, I grew up in a poor family, in a farming community, you know, out in the country. Things were a lot different back then. Hey, if you like the channel and the content, please hit the subscribe and the bell notification. Make the channel grow. I don't sell anything on this channel. I don't ask for money or super chats or donations. You have money to give me, then you have money to go buy a bag of groceries for your neighbor who's suffering and do good with that money. I got a job. But I want to get the word out. And that's the way to do it. By hitting that thumbs up, supporting that channel, fighting the algorithm. I tell you what, like I say, YouTube, even just to sit there and get a video on sometimes is next to impossible. Okay, but anyway, these videos I'm watching, these young people, they've had enough. You know, at least we knew we had, you know, when we were in our 20s and stuff, you know, my late teens, early 20s, I was in the Marine Corps and stuff, mid 20s. But we still felt we had a future. These kids realize they ain't got a future. And then what's another thing that's going to cause civil war? I don't know, 600,000 Chinese students in our country. Just that's Chinese. Okay, American students going into six-figure debts may not even work a job that they went to school for. And it ain't going to be this 250,000 job a year like they've been promised. By the way, and then debt. Okay, I'm debt free. I don't have a car payment. I don't have credit card payments. I don't have no loan payments. I don't owe a financial institution at all. I got my cell phone bill and my automobile insurance. And then I got my rent. My living expenses with my rent is $800 a month. Rent and electric. You know, I'm not going to be a financial slave to these sons of bitches. I'm not going to get in a position where I got to make thousands of dollars a month just to be stressed out. Okay, but this is one reason. And as you get older, you realize when you see those taxes going out of your check and you get more getting into how the world works and you listen to these politicians of what they're spending your money on. Okay? And one thing I want to say as I go on. Did anybody see the digital ID protests in England? Anybody see videos of that? You know what's interesting about that? There were liberals and conservatives protesting the same thing, marching together. Is digital ID going to be what throws liberals off in this country and says that's enough? But yeah. Liberals and conservatives protesting together in England. That's how bad it's got. But see, you know what these people are starting to see? What I've been preaching on this channel from the beginning? They see who the real enemy is. It isn't their neighbor. It's their damn politician that are telling them their neighbor is their enemy. Their enemy is trying to tell them who their enemy is. And these people are waking up to it. You know, I'm watching this protest. I'm seeing conservatives, and they pan over, and it looks like, you know, marching and megaphone and everybody, one person says, they all say it. And then the colored hair stuff. And I was like, really? Digital ID is what's going to push the liberals over the edge and they won't even support the government anymore. We got a lot of problems in this country. A lot of problems. And then did you see what old Trump did? Representative Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene threw him under the bus, basically saying, if you're not MAGA, you're not in no more. I mean, people need to stop telling Trump he's Jesus Christ. People need to stop telling Trump that he's just this wonderful, better president than George Washington. There's so many similarities between how Trump got the power, how Hitler got the power, because the liberals in Berlin at the time in Germany were trying to erase the German culture, so they fucking put a crazy maniac in charge. People around him telling him he's the greatest military commander at all time, just pumping his head up and his ego up. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of Trump saying, oh, because of me, because of me, because of me. Yeah, I knew this live stream wasn't going to do very good because you know what? You can't have the truth. Screw you, YouTube. I'm not going the fuck away. I'm not going away. Things are way, way, way too serious now. Way too serious. Hell, we got a Muslim communist in charge of mayor in New York City now. We got Muslims taking over parts of the country. Did we go to war with them 25 years ago because of 9/11? Seems like the enemy's got a lot of control in our country now. I mean, if you would have told New Yorkers on September 12th, 2001, that in 24 years they'd elect a Muslim communist mayor, what would you have been told? A lot of people are pissed. A lot of people's lines are being crossed. Anyway, back to Trump and going after Massey. And then his little social media. I'm so sick and tired of Trump acting like a little spoiled child. Where if you don't get his way, I mean, he's insulting Massey, saying too, now his wife will know he's married to a coward or something. Just because he votes against the GOP? Well, he must be voting the way the people he's representing like, because he keeps getting elected. Not everybody in the world thinks like you, Trump. So what's Trump want? Another thing like Hitler. Trump wants a Congress or a Reichstag that will be yes men. Right, Trump? Everybody's got to be a yes man. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to fucking say it at all. I've studied history, a lot of errors of history, thoroughly. In World War II and the rise of Nazism and I was a Marine and I was actually more interested in the European theater than I was the Pacific theater, being a Marine. But in the Marine Corps, we learned a lot about the Pacific theater, and boot camp you spend a lot of time in class too. But there's so many reasons, but finances. Government control. Like I say, now we have troops on the streets. Troops on the streets. Biden went all 4 years without putting troops on the streets. Threatened us with nuclear weapons, Hellfire missiles, and F-15s, but we didn't have troops on the street. And when are they going to leave, people? They're still in D.C. D.C.'s so cleaned up now, right? When the people that I saw on YouTube, those people that just even a year ago never would have put videos on this. See, this is the thing too, Trump. Things aren't any better under you. You keep saying that Americans in America are getting wealthier and stuff. Who are you telling that to? That inflation's down and groceries are cheaper. Have you ever went to the grocery store? Hell, yesterday I went to the Dollar General and bought a few things. $50. Who are they trying to blow smoke up our asses? This is the same old thing. Don't pay attention to your eyesight or what you're hearing or what you're feeling or nothing. Believe what we're telling you. Anyway, okay, went over finances. Like I say, everybody's upset. If you got... when I was growing up, I never saw older people that were retired. You were retired. You didn't work no more. That had to work in stores, had to have jobs. I don't remember seeing that until, Come on, fly. Until the last, I don't know, what's it been when we've had the old people as welcomers in Walmart and stuff? Dollar General imports their product. I know that. Okay. But this is the thing. If you watch my videos and see where I live, okay, I don't go to Walmart, but there's some things I buy in the grocery store and there's some things I buy at Dollar General. One thing about our doubt, I'm not even going to get into it. You know, we're surrounded by big box stores. What the hell are we supposed to do? You know, I can't even, where I live, I got to go 50 miles just to get a tire fixed. I mean, all these government regulations have put all these small businesses like tire shops and all that other stuff out of business. Okay, when you live in a small area, but whatever. I'd rather choose to live like this than in a big city where I had all the modern convenience at my fingertips 24 hours a day. Like I say, that show Survivor, they couldn't have got me off that island. If they would have put me in the middle of New York City, I'd have been the first one off the show. My ex-wife and I were watching the movie Castaway once with Tom Hanks. And she looks over at me and she goes, "You wouldn't even want to try to get off that island, would you?" I said, "Hell no." That's why I'm a lone wolf. Okay, but stuff is going to get crazy. Okay, and then, now Trump back on Massey. Cutting him down makes sure telling his wife that he's married to a loser. That's childish shit. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene. All upset with her. I mean, these are people that sit there and do what their constituents want. Ask questions. They're doing their job, just like Elon Musk. Not that I like him, but he went to D.C., did what the American people expected him to do, and look what happened to him. Trump is an embarrassment. Oh, he's beyond an. The thing is, what happened to him? I mean, I made a short today. I made the short. I said, during the election, when Biden or the Democrats would say something, they'd create a Trump voter. Now, when Trump or the Republicans say something, they create a voter for 1776. See, this is the thing, you politicians, if you're listening. The American people knew that Trump was the last resort, the last possibility, supposed to be the savior of the country, make America great again. Okay? And we know now that that's not the case. I mean, Laura Ingraham had him dancing. Did she not? And we know he wasn't dancing to our tune. But we see now, we're the last resort. You watching me, your neighbor. Like I say, in England, when they got liberals and conservative protesting together, that will happen here. And that will be the last step. When everybody realizes who the enemy is, bingo. But then again, when we take over get our country back, we have $38 trillion to pay off. And that's going to take some serious sacrificing from everybody. Like I say, people, we allowed this to happen. I mean, our politicians put us $38 trillion in debt that we know about, and the American people did nothing. Did nothing. I'm still, in my mind, I'm looking at myself, I didn't do nothing. Time out for 10 minutes, protect. Good point, 40 trillion in the ditch. Yeah, that's what we know about. That's not the unfunded liabilities that there's no money in the accounts for no more. Like Social Security. Retirement plans for these government workers that we can't afford. I mean, we're definitely, okay, if you've never been to, I say this all the time, if you've never been to a third world country, if the only time you've seen starving children is through the TV screen and haven't seen it in person, haven't been in that small dirt floored restaurant where you didn't want to eat with barefoot waiters in rags. That's third world country, people. Yes, dirt floor restaurants, barefooted, in rags waiters. Okay, and then there is no government entitlements there. What are all these people? I mean, when EBT isn't only shut down because of a government shutdown, but it's canceled altogether. And then we don't have no jobs in this country because we got foreign workers, H-1B, that are illegal foreign workers, and AI taking jobs. See, the thing is, people are realizing that, like I say, we're the only ones that are going to get our country back. And now like I say, your politician, your government doesn't care what your political affiliation is. They'll use you as a useful it, like MAGA. These people that, I'm telling you, these extreme MAGA, they're fanatic. They're a fan of Trump. They're a fanatic of Trump. Just like you got fanatic liberals. And then you got the 60% of us in the middle. But these fanatic MAGA people, I mean, do they remember what they voted for? Were they just voting? They hated the Democrats so bad that they hate Democrats so bad that a Republican can do no wrong? Anyway, when all this problems comes to their doorstep, they'll understand. Anyway, and that's another thing with this, our economy collapsing. And then we're going to bring up digital currency. And the average person doesn't realize how much control that the government gives over you. Then you want to go into digital ID and digital currency. And then they'll have us all on universal basic income. Can anybody see how that could really backfire in our faces? For one thing, who's going to pay all the money to the government to give us all this universal basic income? The foreigners that are in this country working? Well, if that's the case, the government's going to figure out real quick what the ball and chain on their ankle is. And it ain't going to be the foreign workers. Anyway, hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe and the bell notification. Anything to help the channel grow. Look, check out my other content. I got a lot of content out there. 1,300 videos, a lot of shorts, over 1,000 shorts. Check them out. Share them about. This is a channel. It's like I say, I don't care, YouTube. I'm not going away. I don't care the games you play. See, this is the thing too. As a creator, breaking somebody's constitutional rights, First Amendment's rights is a crime. And all those content creators, let's just say we have a third eye into how things are working with censorship and stuff. And all of us have a lot of evidence proving, well, hell, YouTube even admitted that they conspired with the Biden administration. And they'll be held accountable. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these other idiots will probably end up the rest of spending their twilight years in prison. Whatever. Okay, we can't let them get away with this shit just because they're richer than us. That's it. They got more money. That's it. That's it, people. They have no skills. Well, I guess Mark Zuckerberg's some super elite soldier now, right? Because he took a few martial arts classes. That pussy's never been in a real goddamn fight, and I guarantee you, he's never been in a fight for his life. God bless you, Dean. Anyway, I haven't been watching the chat, but hey, the social liberal but physical conservative, just saying. I'm social liberal, but see, a constitutional conservative. Okay? That's what you are. That's what all the 60% in the middle are. We're constitutional conservatives saying, hey, can you guys follow the fucking rules? And you got the right that breaks rules, and you got the left that breaks different rules. But that 60% are the victims. You're a constitutional conservative. Okay, they don't teach this stuff. And this is a problem with people like you and me. We don't want to sit there and tell other people how to live. We don't want to interfere with other people's lives. You know, that's one thing, a hallmark for a politician. They like interfering with people's lives. And the sorry thing about it is, when not enough of us are in office, we get too many of them. And like I say, I'm sick of having to choose between this billionaire or this billionaire. You know, like I say, some people are making $5,000 take-home pay a month and can't make it. Trump spends that on a dinner. A dinner! And he thinks he can identify with us? How many of you all live in something that looks like Mar-Largo? How many of you? Do you think if you went to Mar-Lago, he would treat you like he was your servant, or you'd have to treat him like you were his servant? How do you think it would be? Anyway, all I saw was a lot of frustration on YouTube today. Okay, and it's gonna blow when I see the videos I saw from the people I saw today that are what I would call normal people. Not what people would call a psychotic Marine like me who, you know, wants to solve the problem. These are people that say, what the hell is going on? Why am I making $5,000 and I got to decide whether I pay a bill or eat this month? But see, you see people. Where's all that money that you're making your $5,000 a month that you're struggling? Where's all your money being funneled to? The rich guy. Because you went to the bank and borrowed a loan. Okay? Yeah, you got your rent, and rent's ridiculous. But then again, if we sat there and enforced the laws, deported the H-1B visa workers, got rid of the illegals, well, that'd free up about 40 million houses and apartments. That would drop rent a lot now, wouldn't it? Because the supply would be a lot higher than the demand. But you bring these illegals in here, these H-1B visa workers, these millions of foreign students, and all of a sudden Americans can't find a house. Okay? But rent needs to go down. Food. I'm surrounded by food, people. Okay? Cows, pigs. I think there's some chicken farms south in Colorado. Fields galore of corn, soybeans, wheat, millet, beets, sugar beets, everything. We make enough food in this country in a year to feed this country for 4 years. So that would tell me on supply and demand that we have the supply's up, but the demand's the same. So prices should go down. Now, there's a few things we'd have to import. I'm not saying all import's bad, but I don't think we should export any food until everybody's fed in this country. Anybody disagree with that? Okay, so your food costs can go down. Insurance. You know, everybody's got to have insurance. I have automobile insurance. I'm with the VA, so I don't got to worry about medical insurance. But then again, everybody used to criticize the VA because of the quality of care. Well, is it any different at these goddamn hospitals now? Hell, now hospitals got AI at diagnosing you. But anyway, so we'll say I'm not going to say $27,000 a year for an average. Let's say you pay $1,000 a month for insurance. Plus, then if you get sick or your co-pays, I mean, that's with a $10,000 co-pay that you got to pay. I mean, who has $10,000 with a medical bill? I haven't gone to the doctor in over 20 years. I don't know what the hell a medical bill is. I know what being healthy is, how to stay healthy. You know, when doctors always sat there and said, you're your best doctor. I mean, a prime example, this is what a doctor told me once. When I was in the Marine Corps, I got injured. And basically, all the muscle in my leg, my quad and stuff, got turned to mush. My muscle had to reform. Hell, it took me 6 weeks before I could do a full rotation on the exercise bicycle. Anyway, I was down for a while. Anyway, and I pushed myself and pushed myself. Well, one Sunday, this one doctor, I even still remember his name, Dr. Depperman. He was the orthopedic, or the guy that had me, physical therapist that had me going to see. And it was a Sunday. And, you know, I'm on no duty. I'm light duty. I still had school. I was going through school at the time. But anyway, and running around the track or hobbling around the track, okay? Yeah, it wasn't running. It was a hobble, really bad. And he drove by. He stopped. And he goes, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be on light duty. You know, if all my patients were like you, I wouldn't have a job. You know, him and I he was a great doc. I remember when he was very strict. He wouldn't take me off light duty till I was ready. I always had to do these tests between my legs, testing strength. He goes, I don't want you cheating on that one. Anyway, yeah, Dr. Depperman. What is your favorite number? I don't know. I never thought of it, but I don't, you know. I think more of what's my favorite day going to be like? Where's my favorite spot like that? Numbers or colors, not a big thing. I work for a hospital chain in Maryland, and it makes me sick to see the cost of some of these procedures. It's common to see a $500K bill for the smallest procedure. I know. And this is the thing. They charge that, and you go in there and you're like, dude, this ain't me, but let's say you're an average American. Dude, I'm making $25 an hour, and you're charging me thousands of dollars for 1 hour? You say, people, you want to stay healthy? Go to the gym, get a membership. If you're unhealthy, start out slow. You got diabetes, you can turn all this shit around. Your body's extremely resilient. You know, we just been taught, you teach yourself limitations. Get rid of your freaking governor, okay? The doctor will never tell you truly get you healthy, because then you'll stop being a customer. This isn't medical advice, but start exercising, walking. Start out slow. Don't be shoveling snow and stuff and die of a heart attack. You know, you sit there and one thing about it is you start out and see where you're at. Okay? Don't push yourself hard, but see where you're at and then write it down. And then every time you work out, try to, like, let's say you're walking a half a mile, right? Starting out. Or even a quarter mile. You're starting out walking a quarter mile. And then every single time you walk 15 steps further, 20 steps further, turn around, come back. And before you know it, you're up to a mile. Okay, and if you got to listen to your music and stuff, whatever. But the quality of everything is going down. Now, all employers know that the quality of employees are going down, and that is hurting every industry, including the medical field, which is soon going to be taken over by AI. I hope all you people in the medical field realize that. And the sheriff's department. Talk to a sheriff, and yeah, you know, he goes to bed at night worrying about if he's going to get hit with a lawsuit, his deputy's going to shoot somebody, or his deputy's going to get shot, because they ain't the qualified people they were years ago. Anyway, but like I said, I appreciate everybody being here. If you like the content, please hit the thumbs up to subscribe and the bell notification, because as you can see, the last thing America wants is conservatives and liberals protesting on the same side. They know the jig is up then. Okay. Like I say, if you got a liberal neighbor that don't get along with you, every time he drives by you, wave and smile. Even if he frowns at you, who cares? Not about his reaction, it's about what you're doing. Wave and smile. Believe it or not, if you do that long enough, they have a hard time understanding why they're mad at you. And you haven't said a word to them. And pretty soon you're along the fence line mowing, and all of a sudden you strike up a conversation. Don't go into politics. Don't go into your job. Go into about raising your kids or something. The baseball game, the football game, something besides the weather. But if you got to start out with the weather. Because like I say, our politicians don't give a shit of what your political beliefs are. They hate us all. They want us all gone. They're not just trying to replace conservatives or liberals. They're trying to replace all Americans. I don't know what the hell we did so bad. White supremacy, right? These minorities get on white supremacy. Well, look at who the fucking idiots you're following that are leading you into the abyss. America needs a place for the crazies. Well, I know. I say this a lot too. Can you imagine living in a big city like New York City? In New York City, if you're walking down the street, would you be concerned about the criminal that had a gun in their pocket? No. They're going to go into the store and rob the store. They're not going to mess with you on the street. But that crazy ass son of a bitch that's lost their mind could have a syringe filled with something and just jump out and shoot you with it. Douse you with gasoline, let you on fire. Come back to your vehicle and they're camped out in your back seat. Yeah, I mean, there's some very unstable people in the streets. I mean, that makes the criminals look like they're the safe ones to be around. Anyway, I mean, the whole world's flipped upside down. And with Trump saying the shit he's saying, I tell you what, you call Americans incapable, and you're not going to take, the government's not going to take no responsibility. See, one thing I do agree that younger generations weren't equipped to handle adulthood like we were. Whatever the reason is, their parents, the schooling, the way our society has gone, whatever the reason, they weren't prepared. We didn't give them a future to prepare for, so they don't have a future. Our country don't have a future when our kids don't have a future. Okay? But the government's not going to take no responsibility for it. Wasn't Trump going to get rid of the Department of Education? Wasn't that going to be a bygone thing? I mean, when I went to school, our nation, I was taught by teachers before the Department of Education, our country was number one in education. Number one. By our standards back then. Now, we're in the 30s or 33rd now in the world by today's standards. Boy, how we have fallen. Like you say, it's just Trump. Always heard that and it pissed me off. Who the hell am I going to have a fucking beta male politician tell me what my abilities are or what I'm capable of? What am I going to let one of these zipper heads tell me that? I don't freaking think so. Not even close. Lindsey Graham or whatever. And then let's not get into another thing that pissed me off what Trump did. He destroyed the East Wing of the White House so he can put up a ballroom to entertain all his guests. What's he, a king of our country now? Anyway, like I say, it's getting so bad where Trump got elected by a Republican got elected, and the conservatives are going to start the civil war against the Republicans. We still got over 3 years of this stuff to go, people. We ain't even done into the first year yet. It's going to get crazy. Why are you shouting? Because I'm a crazy-ass jarhead. The Bible has been accurate thus far. Yeah. Like I say, maybe these people that are in power that are so evil are just fulfilling their destiny, and they don't even know it. I don't know. But I know the devil is loose in the streets of Bethlehem all day long. All right? There's so much criminality by these people. You and I aren't rich enough or powerful enough to commit the atrocities and crimes these people are committing. We can just commit average people crimes. These people are committing super crimes. And guess what? Too big to fail, and now it's also too big to jail. How many, I forgot about this one. You know, when Biden first came into office, right, all the January 6th protesters that got arrested in the first 100 days. You know, Vietnam vets, Gulf War vets, grandmas, little old ladies. Don't forget people died then too. You know, American patriots died. And now this pipe bomb stuff. Did anybody hear about the pipe bomb that was planted by that DC cop or whatever a couple days before the protest, and people went to prison for this shit? Nothing is just going to be swept on the table. This is the thing people understand. We got social media today. You can't hide anything. I mean, on the Charlie Kirk murder and, Trump's first assassination attempt in Butler, you got investigative reporters, independent investigative reporters that are doing better work than the FBI just by pulling stuff that's off the internet. What do you think about Trump suing the BBC over the old edit? You know what? It's bullshit. I think he should legally be able to sue him. But you know what? A real man would just brush the shit off. Look at all the bullshit I got to sit there and listen to just on my live stream. What do you think if Trump had a live stream like that, like mine? He had to put up with all the insults and innuendos and stuff. Well, he'd just be suing everybody. I think as president, he should be thick-skinned enough to show the proof. You know, I've seen what he said, and I saw how it was doctored. Why does he got to sue him? Because they insulted they hurt his ego. You know, this is also a president that flat out admits that he trolls the other side on purpose. He tries to upset liberals by trolling them. Now, how is that unifying the country? When a president acts like a bully on the elementary playground. I'm just wondering. And then, remember when they say you'll own nothing and like it? And then Trump tries to introduce a 50-year mortgage. Well, that sounds like you'll own nothing and like it. I mean, now car loans basically, right? Everybody has a car loan, but they trade their car in before the loan's paid off, so they have another car loan. So they don't own that car. They'll own nothing and like it and be fooled about it. You get into a 50-year mortgage. Let's say you're lucky enough to get a mortgage by the time you're 28, because you ain't going to do it by the time you're 25. So 28. So by 78, you'll have your house paid off. I don't think anybody's got it in their retirement budget to be making a house payment after they retire. I don't think that's in the budget. You'll own nothing and like it. And see, this thing with new homes these days, after 40 years of goddamn things built so cheap, it's going to fall to the ground. You know, I've done house building and remodeling and stuff. Believe me, I can I could walk in the house and see all the mistakes and how cheap it was done. And the thing is, the lumber that we're getting, it was bad years ago, but it's absolutely terrible now. That's one warning. If you ever go to the lumber yard and get your own lumber, load it yourself. Do not let them load it, or you'll get everything that nobody else will take. But the stuff is cheap. Okay, but then your house falls over. Let's say it lasts 50 years. Ooh, I got my house paid off for in 50 years. Guess what? It's contaminated. It's condemned. So we got to tear it down and build another one. And now we're. I mean, they're not lying about what they wanted. You'll own nothing and like it. And Trump's just their spokesman now. I mean, I don't like seeing what it says. I voted for the man. I feel like I got kicked in the gut. I got told he didn't need me no more, and he called me a bunch of names because I believe that the Epstein list exists. So, and now with the crazy shit he's saying, I just don't. Then he says he stopped 8 wars. Is that why we're threatening Nicaragua and Venezuela, and we got military troops or ships off the coast and stuff doing exercise, intimidating them? The Ukraine war's still going, sir. We're still sending money to that. And now with Israel, we're still sending the money to them, and Israel's trying to sit there and get a sweeter deal for 20 years instead of 10 years because they realize that, Americans may start not looking at Israel the same way. I know I sure don't. And I've been there. And it upsets me that a country that I enjoyed being so much into when I was there, and this was back in 87, when I was a Marine under Reagan. I'm so upset that that's not the country I was in. Anyway, I got one hell of a sea story from Israel, and if some people say they want to hear it, I'll talk it. If you don't, I'll keep going. What set is you from? Brad, how stupid can you get? Trump needed to be impeached. Well, see, this is the thing too, okay? Do you realize what the stuff that Trump is saying? I always said after the list is a hoax, Democrats are going to take power of the House and Senate on the midterms, and they're going to have the presidency, the next presidential cycle. And with what he's saying now, see, why is the Democrats going to win? It's easy. It's not like the Republicans. It's not like when Trump had Democrats voting for him to get him in office. No. Now you're going to have people that voted for Trump, and a lot of them that are just going to stay the fuck home. Because like I say, we all know Trump was the last resort. Doing it peacefully. We can see the writing on the wall. This isn't peaceful no more. So us voting doesn't matter, okay? We just need to get on the same page with the liberals. And hopefully this, like I say, Trump's got over 3 years left, people. We could go through digital currency, digital ID, and universal basic income, all in those big 3 in the next 3 years. Anyway, like I say, we knew Trump was the last resort, and Laura Ingraham had him dancing, and we saw what tune he was dancing to. Dancing to the tune of the elites. If there was any question, if he's part of the cabal, there's no question about it now. Okay, and the thing is, people really need to stop telling him that he's Jesus Christ, okay? People really need to start looking at him like he's a man and start, these people around him, you're fucking up, dude. Are you listening to what you're saying? You just called Americans incapable, not capable of doing jobs in America. We need to import people from a country where the average IQ was 70. 70! 71% come from India. And then this, okay, I work cattle. But you know what? I never decided to sit there and lay down in it and start, us cowboys ever decide to start laying down in a bunch of cow shit, throwing it at each other and call that a holiday. America, the reason why we were top of the world is because we were up here morally. We were up here financially. We were up here spiritually. We were up here as a people being united. And now we've dropped into the abyss. Okay? We've lost our moral compass. Like I say, when we got to hear that men can have babies, that, trying to sit there and talk kids into be transgenders and stuff, we lost our way. Lost our way. We turned our back on God. Our country did. I believe there's a lot more Christians in this country than we know about. And believe me, like they say, there's no atheists in a foxhole. When stuff really starts coming down, there's going to be a lot more Christians in this country. It's just the minority is trying to, by all their screaming so loud, is trying to get everybody to think they're the minority. The same thing Hitler did. His screaming minority was so nuts that everybody thought they were the majority. I mean, this is the thing. When you studied history, we have a combination of the 1919 Bolshevik Revolution and the Nazi government. Communists and Nazis fascists used to be the big war all the time. Now they're combining. Like I say, the elites don't seem to have a problem with each other anymore, do they? Doesn't mean our politicians don't call out any other politicians making mistakes in other countries. Anyway, they're not. They all get along. It's like all-star wrestling. They're arguing between the announcer and stuff, and then they leave there after they had their match, and then they go have a beer together and play some cards. But you know what? It sells, and they make a lot of money on it. Anyway, crazy times, people, crazy times. But I do believe the war is a lot closer than I thought. I live out here secluded. We live in Leave It to Beaverland still. We live in traditional America still. That's why we're called flyover country. A politician comes in here and tries to talk your stupid shit. There ain't nobody going to vote for him. And seeing what I saw on YouTube today, social media, I need to watch more of that. Or it's going to sit there and hit, and I'm not even going to know what's coming. I'm going to be too much enjoying the great day or ride my horse or, just enjoying my life. That's one thing out here, like say people, I don't even have to lock my doors or take my keys out of my vehicle. I can leave for a month on a vacation, and I don't have to lock my doors or take my keys out of my vehicle. I wish somebody in the big city who's really stressed out and feels they just can't leave could feel that. Come out here for a week and just feel that. You can feel freedom out here. Live out here where the Indians lived. There's a reason why the Indians fought like they did for their freedom. Some of them, and the ones that did, what'd they do? They went to the reservations because the government was going to promise them everything they ever needed the rest of their life. They were going to take care of them. How'd that work out for the Indian? Anyway, hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Like I say, this channel, I don't sell nothing on here. I don't take super chats. I don't take donations. I'm close to getting monetized. When I get monetized, just watch a commercial. I don't believe we're in a world of shit. Okay, the economy sucks. I go to work and I earn my money. I'm on here like the town crier. like they had back in the day when they didn't have radio and shit. You had a town crier that would sit there and yell out the news in the town square. People would listen. That's what I am. I don't care what your political affiliation is. If you believe in the Constitution, the American culture, and that we're allowed to disagree with each other. God, that's what makes this country so great. Thinking outside the box. But we still had limitations on that by, moral ethics and stuff. But thinking outside the box, that's what made this country great. You don't agree with me? Well, fine. I'm going to continue on and succeed. Anyway, if you were wearing, no, you took a lend in them. You are, what made this country great? McDonald's. That's one thing. I haven't eaten fast food in, I don't even know when. I mean, this is the thing. I stopped eating in restaurants and especially fast food when I became a fry cook for a while. Got to pay the bills. Take whatever job you can get. But I became a fry cook. And I saw what happens in those kitchens in restaurants. There's no way you'll ever get me to eat in a restaurant or I don't care what kind of restaurant. Okay. I want a great steak at a good price. I'll buy one and cook it on the grill out here with a baked potato and vegetable and stuff. That's what I'll do. Okay. And not have to be in a restaurant where they got tables right next to each other and I can hear the conversation from the next 5 tables down. Fast food restaurants also include all sorts of chemicals in their meals and buns. Brother, it's crazy. I know. I watched some videos on how this McDonald's food is made. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just hope I stopped eating. I mean, it's probably been, if I were to think realistically, probably at least 10 years I haven't eaten fast food. At least 10 years. Maybe a few more. I sure hope I wasn't eating that shit. But I saw a thing on the McRib. Chicken nuggets. No. Okay, you want to stay healthy? Get a garden. Grow your own food. I'm lucky. I live out here. Like I say, I'm surrounded by food. They have lockers here in small towns where the meat comes in on the hoof through the back door, gets butchered, and it comes out the front door packaged. Okay? That's how I get my meat. It doesn't go to 33 different places with 1,000 different cows mixed in with my burger. Plus, the stuff you get in the grocery stores is the stuff to clean off the knives. Anyway, but I know a lot of people don't have that ability. So the thing is, if you can raise your own meat, do it. You can take it into a locker and have butcher it, but then are you going to get the real stuff back? You got to worry about everything in today's world. But anyway, yeah, I do believe we are really close to civil war. I believe the whole world's close to civil war. Like I say, in Britain, when you got the conservatives and liberals protesting on the same side for the same thing. Okay, and like I say, it's going to be a domino effect. Once it happens in one Western country, either Canada, the United States, Great Britain, France, Germany. I don't think Poland's doing all right because they won't let the immigrants in. I'm not sure about Italy. But one of those, what's that? 5 countries? It's just going to be a domino effect. Which one do I think is closest? I don't know. It depends on which leader of the country said the stupidest thing. My wife, You know what, DC? If you got some stupid ones in here, you know what? I tell you what. If you got some stupid ones in here, just hide the user. Like I say, this is a conversation for adults, not adult children, for adults. I realize there's adult children out there that don't understand anything that's going on. But anyway, I gotta go. I got plans tonight, so I'm gonna get out of here. Were you in the military? Yes, I was. I was a Marine. Went in during Reagan, last 3 years of Ronald Reagan, and got out during Clinton. Believe me, I saw how much the world had changed just in 8 years. Okay. So anyway, you know what? You guys can sit there and bash my military all you want. All you gotta do is go to my channel, check out my posts, and you'll see some pictures there that, you know, go against what you believe. Anyway, like I say, if you think I wasn't in the military, well, if someday you got to sit there and go against me, you'll find out differently. But anyway, I got to get rolling. I appreciate everybody being here. Like I say, if you like the channel, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. Even you trolls, because you're welcome here. Like I say, you know, the thing is with these trolls, once you've heard insults, especially being a Marine, growing up, being teased and stuff, these guys think they need to think about it a little bit because they're like at kindergarten level. Anyway, maybe we'll get some trolls that can actually do a good job because they're pretty pathetic. I mean, it's like a first 1-year-old going, or a first grader sitting there trying to get the best of you. But then again, I guess they get the best of them. Anyway, anytime they hear the truth, off they go. And I realize that this platform pays these people to do this. I mean, can you imagine paying somebody to destroy your business? But this is the world we live in. Anyway, yes, I do believe civil war is coming. And, you know, I hope everybody's ready to react to it. Even you trolls. Everybody should have a fair shot. Anyway, appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be live again Monday morning, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And like I say, check out the rest of my content. You know, you either like me or you hate me. I don't really care. But you know what? Like I say, the politicians, our government really hates us. So, you know, you can hate me all day long. It's directed the wrong way. Okay? Anyway, everybody have a great rest of your weekend. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.